Driving away.
Yep. Oh! Oh, he's knocked.
Boom.
Oh! I see this.
Yeah.
Dead. What's up, guys? Sorry I haven't uploaded recently. I'm excited to get back in the swing of things now that we actually have some substantial releases from Bluehole. Up until today, every announcement has just been little micro confirmations of things we already knew about from data mines, but now we have something actually hardy to talk about. Starting off with the R45, which was announced earlier today, or yesterday by the time this video is uploaded. Now, we already found out about this in the data mine, but the new piece of information we have is found on NVIDIA's blog post, where it states that this new 6-shot revolver is the desert map replacement for our current R1895, and is chambered in 45 ACP ammo. So no, it does not look like we will be getting any new ammunition types. We will most likely not see the 357 Magnum added to the game yet, and that's despite what many people pointed out on Reddit, which is if you zoom into the provided screenshot, you see 357 Magnum etched on the side of the gun, but the official word is it'll use 45s. Honestly, I thought 357 Magnum would be a little bit of a weird round for them to add to the game. It would be cool as like a desert map exclusive ammo type, but in general 357 would not be my first choice as a new addition. Last few things to point out on the R45 is that it will not support a suppressor like the previous revolver, however it will accept a red dot sight on the top rail. I was really hoping we'd get a revolver that accepts a 4x or even an 8x scope just for kicks, but knowing this basically takes the lowest velocity round in the game, that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. This gun is meant to be a much faster revolver all around, from the easier aiming with the new optic and the addition of a speed loader. Yes, rather than reloading each chamber individually, this weapon will use a speed loader that loads all 6 bullets at once, bringing it much closer to the reload time on our current pistols. And again, if you didn't catch that at the beginning, this is a replacement for our current revolver on the desert map. So we will not see the R95 on the map we've been used to playing, and conversely, we will not get to use that horrible R1895 on the desert map. Now, based off that post on the R45, we can assume the Winchester 1894, which was announced the day before this revolver, will also use 45s for ammunition. Given the current lineup we have, that makes the most sense, and I think that's what everyone assumed would happen anyway. Also, based off this image they tweeted, we can assume the Win94 will accept bullet loops to speed up the reloading process. I'm kind of hoping they just make rifle bullet loops that work for both the Kar 98 and the Win94, and then of course the shotgun loops that work for both shotguns, just so we don't have all these random gun specific loops lying around the map, but not a huge deal either way. Last weapon related thing I wanted to point out, the first desert map weapon they announced was the sawed-off shotgun. I wanted to remind everyone, in the data mine, this weapon was discovered in the pistol folder, so with no confirmation from Bluehole, we're all assuming this is going to be a new option for your sidearm. And I'm honestly not sure how this would fill any sort of new role in the shotgun category itself anyway. However, I wanted to bring it up because a lot of people were tweeting assumptions that you'll be able to dual wield them simply based off the image that shows 2 shotguns side by side. And while I would never completely write it off for Bluehole to do something like this with a weapon down the line, every other weapon announcement for the desert map has shown 2 guns in the image to show off both sides of the model, so it's not likely that 2 guns equals dual wielding. Okay, next we're going to run over the 2 vehicles that have very recently been announced or teased by Bluehole, and remember, these are in addition to the minibus, which they already announced quite a while ago. The newest vehicle announcement we have is this, the much anticipated jet ski, or according to its in-game name, the Aquarail. So no real big surprises here, as we already knew this was coming to the game for a long time. Once again, we can confirm that the early data mine was extremely accurate, down to the aesthetic of this vehicle itself. But the biggest news here is that we finally have one of these announcements that does not strictly pertain to the new map. the Aquarail is officially coming to both the desert map and our current map. Thank goodness. All these previous announcements I've shown have been desert map exclusives, but this vehicle we will see on both maps. And of course, based off the image we see here, it's basically a motorbike of the sea. It should seat 2 passengers. Now, the vehicle that was announced just before the Aquarail is this, the new pickup. And this will be a desert map exclusive. My guess is that it is going to replace or be the desert map equivalent of a UAZ. Probably 4 passengers, 2 in the cab, 2 in the back. Once again, this is confirmation of a previous data mine. But some important things to know. Well, let's just get into the meat of it. We will probably get a night mode along with the desert map. That was the very first thing that popped into my head when they tweeted out this photo, seeing all those additional floodlights on the truck, and of course that's been the talk of town ever since. But stripping away all the different hints we have, a night mode makes the most sense to me on a desert map, because it doesn't look like they'll be introducing night vision or flashlights, or if they do, it's been kept very, very secret, which leads me to believe it will be the sort of night conversion that still affords decent visibility with a clear, starry sky and an open moonlit landscape. I don't know if this is making sense, but the desert is a perfect environment to turn into a moonlit battlefield. I noticed in some of the very first screenshots ever released of the desert map that there were burning barrel fires or campfires here and there, which would aid to a darker setting. And as many other people have pointed out, the addition of street lights seen in the desert map screenshots, including some industrial lights that are actually turned on, those are kind of a big indicator given our current map has next to 0 lights of any kind, especially not street lights. A handful of people have been noticing lighting glitches inside garages and buildings on our current map, which they think may be a sign of preparation for night mode on that map as well. And while I've personally seen some of these lighting glitches they're talking about firsthand, it's hard to know exactly what their plan is going to be. We've already talked about it in the past, but Brendan Green said they originally had no intention of adding a night mode, but later added after seeing it internally, it looked much better than expected, and that whole conversation took place quite a while ago. Long enough that they've had plenty of time to bring it to life for the 1.0 launch. Of course, the one other interesting little piece of evidence we have is the flare gun found in the last data mine. Nothing has been officially said about this, but I'm a little afraid that will be the last big announcement they have leading up to the launch of the desert map. Like, possibly before I even get this video up, they could announce the flare gun in combination with the night mode, or maybe they'll just save it for the end of the event tonight, or maybe, just maybe, it's the last card up their sleeve that they're hiding away for the official 1.0 launch. Anyways, to bring this full circle, I did a little Photoshop night conversion of the pickup image to give you a glimpse of what I expect it would look like. Not pitch black, but a subtle moonlit landscape. Again, this is all kind of concept at this point. But just to play the other side, we might not see any sort of night environment implemented for a while. If you dive into the blog post they wrote about making the vehicle sounds, you will see a second version of the pickup that does not have the floodlights. So maybe it's just a style change, much like they have 3 different UAZs and 3 different colored Dacias and so on, or maybe there will actually be some benefit to one versus the other depending on the weather mode you're playing in, which would be pretty cool. Another thing, seeing this covered cab, that could mean that it's a 2-seater vehicle, simply because I feel like it would look weird in FPP riding in the bed of a covered truck, but they might have something figured out for that. We'll just have to wait and see. Alright, I'm not sure what you guys appreciate more, waiting like I did with this video until there was a substantial amount of information to talk about, or if it's better that I do little posts every time something new comes out. Nonetheless, this is what I have to give you guys right now. Like I said, I'm excited to get back in the swing of things, and I was definitely going to talk about the desert map itself, but to keep this video from dragging on too long, I'm just going to go with this for you guys and then upload a second video all about the desert map. That way people can pick and choose what they want to see. Until that video about the desert map drops, stay hyped, and I will see you guys on the Battlegrounds.